Ben Gravy and Smeyeworld in one interview? Recently, we interviewed Ben Gravy and Jonathan from Smeyeworld because they released their brand new figure, Gravy.
Yes, and it is awesome. In case you missed it, we received one a couple of months ago, and it is so frickin' cool. And we finally got the opportunity to sit down with both Jonathan and Ben, and we hope you really enjoy this interview. Before we jump into this interview, we wanted to talk about an amazing opportunity for all Funko fans, especially Mortal Kombat fans.
So Funko created a one-of-one 10-inch Raiden figure for a really good cause.
Right now, there is a charity auction going on, and it will support rare disease research.
Not only is this a one-of-one Raiden 10-inch figure in the colors of Mortal Kombat 2, it's signed by the two creators, John Tobias and Ed Boon. This is a truly one-of-a-kind piece. It's really special, and it's really special for a very good reason.
Yes, all proceeds are going to the Raiden Science Foundation, which helps to find cures or research rare diseases. Chris is going to link in the description below everything that you need to know about this auction, and if you are interested in hearing more about what the Raiden Science Foundation does and all of their incredible work, check it out because it's within that website.
All right, so we are joined by Ben Gravy and Jonathan from Smeyeworld. Hello, guys. Glad to have you here. You know, obviously, there's a very good reason why they're here. We're going to talk about surfing for an hour. Who's ready for that on the channel? We're going to talk about surfing. So Ben Gravy, professional surfer and high-class YouTuber. I watched your YouTube channel. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man. I love watching those videos. Are you a daily video guy, or you do it like once a week, or how do you do it?
I did daily for 3.5 years, and then I do Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday now is when I release, but pretty much film every day.
That's awesome. Good for you, man. A lot of vlog stuff. Everybody should go and check out Ben Gravy's vlogs. They're really great. They're a lot of fun. I've laughed my ass off over them. I appreciate the content. So we're here to talk about this new figure, and Jonathan, we actually had you on before for an interview to discuss the figure a little bit. This interview is more about Ben and also where this logo comes from, because that was a question that I'd asked, and Jonathan basically said, hey, this isn't my logo, and I'd much rather Ben Gravy explain what the logo is. By the way, is your real last name Gravy?
It's not.
Okay. All right.
I have a retirement plan.
Very good. I was going to say, at some point you should hyphenate it with boat. Ben Gravy Boat. That would be very good. Yeah, Ben Gravy Boat.
Who was that? Jonathan, was that you that laughed? That was the worst joke ever.
It was very good, and I will stand by that being very good.
That was horrible.
So Ben, where did the pineapple logo come from? Where does it originate?
Yeah, so kind of funny. I started making YouTube videos in 2016, and I don't know if you guys know or not, but I surfed the 50 states, and I was finding different places to surf all around, and I was actually in Minnesota surfing on Lake Superior, and I had a candle. I had never made merchandise ever. I was just surfing. I was just YouTubing kind of for fun. I didn't really realize that people were doing merch and all that kind of stuff. But a company reached out to me and they said, hey, Ben, we love what you do. You should make a candle. And I was like, a candle? And they're like, yeah, we can make a candle like a surf wax scented candle. And they were like, hey, check out like what we have. And they had a coconut candle. And I was like, okay, if I was going to make one, I'd make it pineapple. Because I know coconut's very popular, but pineapple to me is a lot cooler. It's a lot more like vibey. So we actually came out with the Ben Gravy pineapple surf wax scented candle, but we needed a logo. So I came up with this idea to make a punk rock pineapple. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she drew it all with a lead pencil. And I filmed it, put the whole thing in my vlog, and people were stoked on it. And then like we put it in Photoshop with our very, very amateur Photoshop skills and created the logo. And since then it's blossomed and bloomed, and Jonathan has had some renditions of it. But yeah, it started out on a candle, and then people were like, hey, I'd love to see that on a t-shirt. I'd love to see that on a sweatshirt. I'd love to see that on a surfboard. And over the past 8 or 9 years, it's just become like this all-encompassing logo, which if you don't know what I do, I make YouTube videos about surfing, but my message in surfing is to have fun, enjoy yourself, and spread the stoke. And stoke is something in surfing. It's like excitement, joy, having fun, enjoying yourself out in the water, and just spreading good vibes. So this logo, which is now the toy or the collectible figure, has become kind of like a symbol for stoke and joy and just like all good things in surfing, all positive things in surfing. So
that's awesome. I love the backstory. It's always good to have a good backstory, because if you have a shitty backstory, then everybody looks at you like you're crazy and why'd you do this?
Yeah, and you know, I'm really happy that the person who drew it for you is now your wife and not like an ex-girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
That
God!
would be
Can
really
you imagine
weird.
the battle over the logo?
Yes.
There would be we joke about that, because it would be interesting, because was it the logo or was it what I was doing, you know, like, or it was a combination of both that got everything to where it is, you know? So
Oh my God, it's a chicken egg scenario.
yeah,
That's not good. And that doesn't go over well in court either.
yeah.
That's number one. Yeah, the logo that you came, or that your wife came up with, is beautiful. It's fantastic, and it translated very well to a figure.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that do not translate well like that. But that figure, the way I always look at it, almost reminds me of like a statue. It's like it's really pretty. And what you guys have done so far, brilliant. I love all the different colorways that you guys have been coming up with. I know Jonathan has a figure standing by, but we could only see the box. We're only going to see the box. We'll see the full figure hopefully soon, right, Jonathan? Yeah, look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, well, this will be the next one here, but
Look at that.
we'll do the reveal.
Whoa, yeah, he's tickling
We'll do
that
the
thing.
reveal soon. You know.
All
soon.
right, I love it. I'm looking forward to that. It's like a jade color. I like that. That's pretty sick.
What do you think the figure's going to look like?
Heather, I don't know. Don't get me worked
It's
up.
the most limited vinyl we've released so far, too.
You get me all worked up, Heather. I'm going to start sweating here. Ben, I guess my biggest question, aside from, you know, where the logo comes from, is what made you want to make a vinyl toy? Was it an idea that you had already had, or is this something that Jonathan brought to you and then you thought, oh, this is a cool idea, I think I want to do this?
So Jonathan has actually given me a lot of inspiration and a lot of, I guess, like a sense of, wow, this logo is more than I thought it could be. And Jonathan has made me believe in it a lot more than I did. I kind of just always had it and didn't really think about it that much. I actually have talked to people before this about making action figures. I always thought like a surfing action figure would be cool, but I never envisioned the pineapple as some type of like figure. But when Jonathan came to me, he was like, I had met him previously at the wave pool in New Jersey. I mistaken in my blog and I said that we met in New Hampshire, but I actually didn't meet him till later on at the wave pool. But so he came to me and he was like, hey, like, this is what I do. And he's sending me like Funko toys and stuff. And I'm kind of like, okay, all right. Not exactly sure where this is going. And he was like, hey, I'd love to try to do something with the pineapple. And I was like, okay, like, I mean, I don't really know anything about this. I've had long discussions with Jonathan about it. The only thing I've ever personally collected is pins. And I have a ridiculous pin collection of all types of antique pins, Disneyland pins, Dunkin' Donuts, like any pin you could find.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I didn't really understand, you know, the whole toy or vinyl collectible thing. But when I tell you that every step of the way I was blown away and impressed, everything that he sent me, like he sent me the original prototype and I was like, oh, no way. Like, this is going to be real. And then like the next step came and I was like, oh, no way. And it just continued to just become more and more epic as it came together. And it just made me believe in like the life of this logo so much more. And it's been amazing. The process. It's been really, really cool. And I've learned so much. And I've also had the joy and the pleasure of kind of entering sticking my foot in the door of the collecting industry. And it's been amazing. Like all the people that we met at Comic-Con were just the most genuine, kind, sweet, just the nicest people. And it's really funny that it's working, because you wouldn't imagine that collecting toys and surfing would be something that would even go hand in hand. But I think the energy that Jonathan carries and the energy that I carry is just so similar that all the people that want to support us they just understand the same idea of like how to perceive life. So it's been awesome.
That's great. So the figure, when you first saw it, was it exactly what you had envisioned the figure being?
Not really. I didn't really put any expectation on it, to be honest with you. I was like, this guy is doing this, and like I don't want to try to control it at all. Like, because my input is pretty much like means nothing.
Right.
So this entire sculpt, everything, all the colors, and if you know Jonathan well, he gets a little obsessed. So he was on it. He was as on it as you can be. And everything that he sent me, I was never like, oh, I don't know, man. I was always just like, wow, this guy put a lot of thought into this.
That's awesome. Was it weird seeing the behind the pineapple, like the back side of it? Because your logo was only the front.
It was a new world. Which is something that's really cool, because all these little details and like the scruff of the pineapple, that's something that never entered my brain. I never had to think about the pineapple in 3D before. So it was amazing to see how, and even just how it's like a little bit darker in the little creases and stuff. Like, it's so much attention to detail and so much stuff that I had never really thought about.
Well, that shows you the attention to detail, I know shows the love for the logo and for that design. Obviously, Jonathan has a lot of love for that. I mean, look at it. It's really great looking. Even all the different colorways we've seen so far have been fantastic. Did you think that the backside of the pineapple would have a butt at any point? Because you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where my head was going. Like, what's going to be back? Like, did you ever think, like, what's going to be back there? I wonder. You know what I mean?
I wasn't thinking butt.
Okay. Interesting. But, yeah, I don't know what this says about me, but that was the first place my mind went when I thought about this.
That to me is a head. There is no room for a butt.
Well, listen, Heather, he's just a head, so
it would be a butthead, though.
Well, yeah, exactly. It could be a butthead.
I was thinking, if this ever became like, if we ever animated the story, whether it was a comic book or a cartoon or something, would he have a body, or would he kind of just, would he hop around like, and does he speak? Is he kind of more like a puppy, or
interesting. Yeah, that's a good point.
Is he like, like Shaggy and Scooby, like a little out of it, or is he like
right? My big question is, are there eyeballs behind the glasses? Do you see what I'm saying?
I think it's all telepathic Stoke. He just looks at you right in the eyes, and you're just amped, dude. Like, it's like, it's like some like energy. Superman, X-ray thing.
Yeah, it's freaking me out knowing what's behind them glasses. That's all I'm saying. It's freaking me out. That would
be like a season 1 finale thing where he takes off the glass.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, okay. You decide you're doing this. You're creating this vinyl toy. you haven't really been in the vinyl toy industry, although you know Jonathan. So Jonathan obviously has all the knowledge. He knows all the things. Jonathan's been around and doing all this stuff for ever and ever. It seems like now. I remember meeting Jonathan at New York Comic Con in 2019, way back in 2019.
I was going to say I never met him. What do you mean you met him?
Well, Jonathan and I, we met. It was before we even grew pubes. I don't know if you knew that. It was kind of weird. It was a weird time for both of us.
Chris, you've had pubes since 1962.
I don't think so, Heather. Don't lie. But you're not knowing, you know, the collector atmosphere, so to speak.
Yeah.
And sort of jumping into it. Were you nervous from a different perspective, right? Were you nervous to get involved in sort of like this collectors thing that you're not really a part of or you've never been a part of? And were you also concerned about your fan base, like what they would think about this?
So I think Jonathan kind of made me feel, he would be like, dude, like collectors they're just like us. Like they're just like, they love the stoke. So he made me feel like the toy side was going to be awesome. And I had fears on the surfing side because I know like surfing is publicized as like this like happy-go-lucky thing, but there is a side to surfing that's very cynical. And there was a little bit of that when I first came out with, like when we first dropped the toys, some of my followers were like, what is this? You know? But I think not only was there a big group of people that embraced it and embraced the idea, but we've also converted people too that are like, I totally rejected this in the beginning, but now I'm kind of starting to get it. And then like I think you see the video of us at Comic-Con and then more people are like, oh, I think I'm really starting to understand what they're doing here. So from my side, I think it's going to take a little bit more for people to come over and understand it. But from the toy side, I feel like it was like a loving embrace. But yeah, nervous on both ends. But now we're in there. So
absolutely, yeah.
I think also though, you know, that transition. I mean, that's been a lot of like Ben in surfing too. I mean, like he's been someone who's carved out a path and a way forward that I think has always like been a little bit futuristic in a way, and it's like this left field thing, and it's, you know, been a lot of people like I see the way, even I was talking to Chris about this, the way that even Smeyeworld became, or Gastlecast, or Mischief Toys, and you know, a lot of people refer to these as like designer toys, but they're really like independent toys, right? I mean, I would think of like designer toys more as even like Bear Bricks or like something with these big kind of like designers behind them, maybe even like a Super Plastic. These are really like independent toys coming from a different way. And I feel like, you know, Ben in surfing also has taken a trajectory that's always been a little bit more, he's out in front a little bit doing something that the people have to kind of catch up to and go, oh wait, this is super cool, I get this is awesome, you know. And so I always felt that the toy was just another, you know, I'm like, they're gonna get it, but he's gonna be out there in front for a second and they're gonna go, what's he doing out there, you know what I mean?
So are you the first surfer to ever have a toy like this? I mean, it's kind of maybe it takes a little bit of Google searching, because I have been in the, you know, vinyl toy collecting for many years now. I don't think I've ever heard of in fact, an athlete doing something like this. I can't pull anything out of the air from what I remember.
Yeah,
my brain.
I don't know. I know there's been toys made of athletes.
Right, that's what I mean.
Have they
some of that started
teamed up and actually like helped create?
I think you did something brand new, like something that has maybe never been done, which is a huge deal too.
Super 7's definitely done some stuff with some skaters, and I think when you look back, like what was that? Was that Ed Templeton? There was a toy machine toy. It wasn't Ed Templeton. I showed it to you though, Ben. That
the hot dog monster or whatever.
Yeah.
The logo.
Jeff Rowley, was that who it was? No.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. There's been some, I think, small examples of it, but I think especially when you're looking in this current climate and the approach and like the more designer, small batch, independent aspect, for sure, you know, like.
Yeah.
I think
that's cool.
I think the way that we rolled it out is different than anyone's done it, because like you're saying, I think it was kind of just small, like gimmicky, just like a little promotional item, maybe. I remember, I don't know if you guys remember Nike 6.0 though, like in 2008, 2009, maybe. Nike 6.0 had this little monster and it was a little rubber collectible toy. And there was a surf contest in California. They put them all over the beach, and we were obsessed with them, me and my brothers.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. But they never sold them or anything, but it was like the Nike 6.0 little monster guy. And I think
Heather's showing me a photo of it. That's wild looking too. It has like 2 heads on it.
I made my parents pack up a rolly bag with about 80 of those things when we flew back from California. We ransacked the beach.
You had an army of those things.
Yeah. And then Sunbum, you know the company Sunbum, they make Sunbum?
Yes.
They do have little like gorilla toys. I don't know if they're for sale or anything, but they definitely have their little logo of the gorilla guy. I've seen it before. Like I think I've held one in my hands before. And they have what Jonathan would call megas. Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
Megas? Yeah. I've seen a mega of their logo.
Oh, like a big gigantic one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Heather just found one. Oh my God.
16 inches, $199.99.
No idea that ever
Or
existed.
the gorilla, the Sunbomb?
Yeah.
Damn, does it say who produced it or is it self-produced?
It doesn't.
Is it on the Sunbum website? It is. It's on their website. That's
Crazy.
interesting. Yeah, that's
Sounds like it might need a
interesting.
gravy colorway. No.
There you go. That's right. How do you work that in? Do you find that your fellow friends and surfers are they looking at this and saying, "Oh, he's laughing when I said he has friends that are surfers." You don't have friends that are surfers?
No, I'm just laughing at some of my friends' reactions.
Oh,
I'm already thinking where you're going with
I wondered, like, first off, their thought, but also, I mean, look, you can look at this and say, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, why is he making this toy? Like, what's this about, right?
Yeah.
But you could also look at it from a different perspective, right? So aside from it being cool and stoke and everything else, it's a business. And so you found a new way in which you can sell, do more surfer related business, right?
Yeah.
Are these guys looking at that and saying, wow, that's a pretty cool idea. It's a smart idea. I kind of like that idea. Maybe they would want to do something like this, or is it completely the opposite where it's like, what the hell are you doing? I don't understand this.
Okay. So I've gotten every level of that. We sent a few out to some of my friends and just people in the industry and stuff before we launched the toy. And a lot of the people were like really stoked, like, oh, I'm going to put this on my desk. I'm going to, this is going to go in the room that I play music in or whatever. And then I had one buddy he's a professional surfer, and he was like, oh my God, how much money are you making from this? Can I get involved in this? But he was just straight to the business. And then I have like another friend who didn't even open it. He was just like, okay, cool, saw it online. Like, I have no interest in, and it's really funny, the reactions. But how, like Jonathan described it, I think right now, it's a little bit outside of the realm of understanding for my industry. It's going to take a minute for people to kind of understand what's going on. Because even when I was like, oh, I'm going to Comic-Con for the vinyl figure, some of my like sponsors and stuff are like, oh, okay. And then I had some other guys that were like, oh, no way, you're doing another one? Like, sick. So
yeah, I think like, well, one thing I just wanted to say on this was like, I saw the progression of our local surf shop with it because, I'm friends with them and that's where we did like the pre-release event, but I could see how long, like from the first time I showed it to them, like pictures of it, like you have to understand when people see like a picture of it, they're like, is that like, what's the texture? What's the weight?
Right.
Like, what does it do?
Yeah.
Like they're already approaching it from a point like that is so far removed from where we're approaching from it, right? Especially in this sector of toys, because, and it's also not like just a $10, like, yeah, dude, it's $20. You like put it $10, you put it in your thing. No, a lot of these people is the first time they've ever seen a product like this get taken care of in this way in their very first exposure to something like this. And I could see almost like a whole year of like, it wasn't until I put the box in like the surf shop owner's hand, and he saw it and the whole thing after having me telling him about it for a long while, that he finally, you could see it like rolled over in his head, and it's like, oh, okay, I get this now. So I think some of it is just the sheer difference in the eyes and mind that's seeing it and having to, it's like showing like a caveman an iPhone or something, you know what I mean? Like, and not to say that this is like complex or that they're like cavemen, but it's like there's a disconnect there that you have to like close that gap before you can even, with certain ones, you know. But also, like he says, he has fans that immediately were like, oh yeah, that's sick, when's the next one coming out, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you're introducing a brand new product to Ben's fans, and something that they're not used to. Also, a lot of people aren't used to the dollar amount that's associated with figures like this, right? So then you're also trying to sell them something that they typically don't buy, and then it's this price, right? Even if I always look at it from a perspective of like above $20. Sometimes people look at a collectible and they're like, what the hell is this? Why am I spending more than $20 on this thing? When that happens, it's like now you have to like prove to them like how awesome this thing is, right? Yeah. So when they finally see it in person, seeing it on the internet for some of these folks is one thing. But when they actually have it in hand, to your point, when they see that thing in hand, they're like, holy shit, this is really cool. And I want one, and I don't care how much it costs. Right. So you almost like automatically change their mind.
You can like see and feel the quality, especially 100%. When it's right in front of you.
100%. But you know, when people see that they've never dealt with a collectible before. Like our next door neighbor the other day, remember, she showed a Ghastly she goes, I showed Ghastly, we gave her a Maryland Ghastly. We showed it to a couple friends, and they just don't understand it, but it's really neat. That was what she said to us. Yeah. Right. So you're selling a product to people who don't really necessarily understand is interesting. It's an interesting kind of hump or something to get over. Cool. But the fact that it's Ben's logo, I think that is such an item that they're willing to buy because it's directly associated to him. It's his logo.
Yeah. It's the box, like you mentioned, the box. I think when they feel and hold the box and have the experience of opening it, I think it clicks for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I honestly think that you know, there's a cool, like, that's what I like about it. You know, I like that there's this, like, it's this big industry filled with so many different, you know, you've got Safubis and resins and ups and downs and lefts and rights, and yet still it flies low, you know? It's actually bigger than a lot of other industries. It's actually more encompassing. There's actually more people enjoying it, but at the same time, it has this veil that keeps it from like the true mainstream, you know? And I feel like that that's really cool. And I also think surfing has its own form of that. I think, you know, there's a little bit of surfing that's like idolized, and there's this classic thing where it gets this exposure, but like the real kind of inner core of some of the stories in surfing and the lore of surfing and the feel of surfing has its own thing that, you know, you can't do it everywhere. You can't, you know, this. And so there's a little bit where it kind of flies low too. And I like that, I don't know, that juxtaposition where you have something that's so enjoyable by so many, but isn't just like, it's not just like white bread, you know, it's not just like something that everyone can go buy at the store and like just, you know, be like, oh yeah, I get that totally, you know.
Right, you got it. So Cool Kids Club, right? Everybody wants to be a part of the Cool Kids Club. And when you have an object that is, you know, it's sort of word by mouth spreading, you know, a lot of this stuff, that's exactly how it goes. Even though it's all over and plastered all over the internet, you got your Instagrams, you got your Twitters and everything else. But I often have people come to us saying, my buddy so-and-so told me about Ghastly, and I checked out MISCHIEFtoys.com. It's really cool. You know, that's so, it's so cool to have that connection to a product that not a whole lot of people know about. You know what is very similar to? Like a band that isn't well known.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's a band that isn't well known, and they're like Ghost. When we first started listening to Ghost, it was like, oh my god, Ghost is so freaking cool, right?
Now they're all over the.
Now they're everywhere, right? They're all over the place, right? But back when they first had started to come around, it was like, oh my god, this is so neat. No one knows about this.
Yeah,
right?
we
That's how
saw
a lot
them
of these
play acoustic in a teeny tiny little record store, and now they're selling out stadiums.
Exactly. Let's talk about Ghost. You guys ready to talk about Ghost? No, but I think that's one of the coolest things about the smaller toy operations. It makes it fun too. Like I kind of want to get into a different route here for a second. So you guys seem to work really well. I behind the scenes for Heather and I'm surprised that we're both still alive in this business. And the fact that I come up with an idea, Heather comes up with an idea, and then we're clashing over, what idea really will work. And,
the problem with you and I is that we are both in the toy world, right? We've both been collecting almost the same amount of time. You a little bit longer than me, but we've both seen collectibles blossom and understand how things work, where it seems as if Ben allows Jonathan to sort of have this creative freedom. And, Jonathan, he's owned Smeyeworld for how long now?
Right, exactly.
Like he knows how to market it and stuff. So I think, and they're also both laid back.
Well, that's a big one. And
we don't want to get in the middle of this, guys.
Right. Well, and they also don't live in the same house, sleep in the same bed, and they've never seen each other nude. So it's a bigger difference.
Yeah, like they don't even know if the other one snores right now, right?
That's a very good point, Heather. But the fact that you guys are so calm and cool and collected, Ben had mentioned earlier in the interview, basically, I kind of left it in Jonathan's court. He's I trust him. He's handling it. Everything's going smoothly and loving the outcome. But when it comes to now doing these colorways, now you have this piece. Okay, so now you have the thing. Now coming up with the ideas of what do you do with the thing? What kind of art what kind of art is going to be in the box and stuff like that. How do you guys find an easy way of coming together to kind of figure all that out? Is it more a Jonathan thing, Ben? Are you kind of coming in every once in a while? How does all that work for both of you?
I think as far as the creative for almost everything, my input has been, that's cool. oh, that's really cool. Okay, cool. but you got to understand, we spoke, so we met each other a few times, but we also spoke on we were FaceTiming for I don't know, over a year, figuring this whole thing out. So a lot of the conversations veered completely away from toys, and we went into surfing and life, and we actually click on so many levels, and I think we look at the world in the same way, and there's kind of just a mutual respect between us. And I think I am totally cool with letting Jonathan take the wheel, because I have never seen anything out of this project so far that I'm like, whoa, buddy. Everything is like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. And then, I don't know how well you know this guy, but he goes above and beyond. He goes for it.
Oh, 100%. Do you find yourself sitting back and thinking, Ben, about different color variants or anything about the figure? You're just like, I really would like to see this. Does that ever happen? And if so, do you pass that along to Jonathan?
Yeah, we've had discussions about ideas in the future and stuff, but I'm also kind of living in the first year, first batch, how's this rollout going to be? I don't know if it's even dawned on me yet that we're up and running. I'm still living back to the fear I had when we launched the toy the first time. So I don't even know. I don't think I've had an opportunity to think about that. I know he's thinking about it, but my brain has been on New York Comic-Con ever since we got done with San Diego. Now I'm like, okay, let's get through New York. How can we make this a success? And then I guess then I'll start thinking about it from there. But what I tell Jonathan all the time is, man, you should have just been a CEO.
He sort of is, right? Because he's a CEO of Smeyeworld.
Yeah,
really, the reality of it.
Yeah, well, I think it is a different dynamic, and it is kind of tough to. It has its own set of challenges to navigate. One being, right, is like I'm very aware that of like just like how you guys were talking about how is the surf world going to react to this, how's Ben's fans going to react to this. I have to do things that I feel like I was watching Ben for, you know, a couple years before I met him, and you know, a large part of me thinking this would work is me already being like a fan of his and feeling like seeing that synergy. But at the same time, like I know that there's maybe some wild ideas that might not, you know, I have to tread that line, right, where I feel like things that I'm presenting him I like as a fan of his, and his fans are maybe going to like too, and not, you know what I mean, just not maybe cross the line into something, and maybe just at least initially too, right? Maybe it goes certain places, but you have to take those steps. But also from a mold sculpt standpoint, you know, this was a harder toy to sculpt, but at the same time, just like you were saying, Chris, it maybe doesn't have arms or feet or this or that, or it can't have pad prints in certain spots because of textures, and or it can't do this or it can do that. So it has its own unique set of challenges, right, that you're looking at. And I guess for me, I do a lot of like trying to anticipate, like, what would Ben think right here, and feeling like, you know, I'm going to obviously show him and share him, but I'm including what I think that, you know, his fans, his side of the fence, and the people that might see this like enjoy, as well as, you know, the toy side, right?
That's cool. So you're both a fan of Ben, and you're also a business partner with Ben. So therefore, you can sort of you're wading in both pools, so to speak, at the same time. That's cool. What I really like about the setup between the both of you is that it seems very trusting, and the fact that Ben is saying, "Look, this is my logo. This is huge to me. This is really a big part of your life, frankly." I mean, people are seeing this logo, they know exactly who Ben Gravy is, right? It's Ben Gravy, right? So the fact that he's entrusting you with that is really great. I know we're really excited to see what, you know, future drops that you guys are going to have. But man, one thing I wanted to talk about was the merchandise. God damn, those shirts go up, man. They sell out. You guys are doing really well with the shirts.
They're
I see that.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, are we talking? We're doing more of this or what? What's going on with the shirts and all this jazz? Let's go. What are we doing?
I mean, I definitely thought that I just, the reason too that I put a little bit into apparel and wanted to, you know, explore that route was and like the poster and the pin is I knew that I'm like, okay, we need to have a bridge here for like people that love what Ben does, love the pineapple, but aren't quite ready for whatever this figure thing is. And also, like, I think even getting some of these guys to get to the Smeyeworld website and buy a t-shirt, let's say, even that's already a little bit of a challenge, as far as like, so wait, I'm on some like weird toy site and I'm going to like some, like, are we sure this is legit, guys? Like, what's going on
Right.
here? You know, like where they're approaching it from. But I also, like, one of my big things, I love like doing apparel, you know, I would do more of it, you know, when we do like Smye shirts and stuff, we can get through like a run, but it's not that much. So I'm like, well, maybe this is something to where we can kind of build this out and do really cool stuff. And I've also found a company here locally that can do it's like up to like 22 or 24 color screen prints.
Nice.
And so you can do some really high color screens without having to do transfers and stuff like that. It does get a little bit pricey, but it makes for some really, really cool shirts. And obviously, like, Ben's not only the pineapple, but the whole, you know, Ben's story and lore and surfing, I think can make he's already had a lot of really cool, if you go to like wavebandit.com, is it Wave Bandit? Maybe Catch Surf, Wave Bandit's website, you know, trunks and boards and things that have done really well and look really cool. And so I think there's really kind of a world that can be expanded and created, I think, right here. But it's also it's a big challenge to try to communicate all this, right, to people. I think if you can get the message across, it clicks. But it's like it's easy too to live in your own world and you get the message, right? Like you're just
Sure.
walking around like full tilt, like I got it. This is like, but to try to you realize like getting that across even to your closest customers, to your best friends, to your parents, to your, you know, whatever, to whoever is, there is a challenge there. And I've seen it across the board. Like for my dad, I don't think he fully he supported me, you know, as like, yes, this is really cool. But until Ben made like his first video on it, that like my dad just like called me after that and was like, dude, this is a beacon of stoke, dude. Like I've got it now. Like I get what this is. And you know, he takes it now camping and like motorbiking. He'll just be like, I'm hiking with Gravy, you know what I mean? And like
That's awesome.
that's like that was his like aha moment. And I think there's different aha moments, right? Like the resin is an aha moment maybe for someone, or this is, but I still think that that's kind of a challenge and a battle that we need to like be like, okay, you know, this doesn't have to happen overnight. This doesn't have to be, you know, this. And it's also hard too, because as much as I've been in the industry, like this is still my first time producing, and I am still running like the shop and doing all this stuff. So, you know, I know for a fact that there's going to be like, I'm gonna be like, still have major learning curves, right? Where there's going to be maybe a production snafu or a this, or, you know, something happened there. I should have done that maybe a month earlier or a month later, or, you know, you still have to kind of go through some of these swings. But yeah, I think it's a really cool journey. And I hope, you know, one of my big hopes was was just making a toy, but to also have, you know, the toy world get exposure to Ben and what Ben does and what Ben is about, because it really is like a top tier quintessential Ben Gravy fan. Reminds me so much of someone who would love Abominable Toys, Mischief Toys, Smeyeworld, like just really nice, stoking people that like love life and want to, you know, share with people. And so that's where I saw that synergy, because like Ben said too, there is like a cynical, dark, you know, side to surfing. I mean, like everything, just like there is in toys, right? You get these guys who just sit in groups and want to bash people and hate on people or trash this or, you know, do whatever. But I think that the non-cynical toy guys and the non-cynical surfer guys are like, they would definitely hang and have a good time, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So you guys are noticing that Ben's fans, they're picking up what you're putting down. They're enjoying this. They like it.
Yeah, and I think, like Jonathan touched on, like there's a lot of people who aren't going to understand the collectible nature, but they definitely understand the idea and what we're going for, and they'll just come get a t-shirt because it's the easiest way to buy in. It's the easiest way to support. It's an awesome new design, and it's a collaboration that they'll probably never get again. I was telling Jonathan yesterday, I walked outside and my neighbor across the street had the Gravy Navy shirt on. And he's like, what's the deal? I can't get a Carhartt? It's just for you guys? And I was like, I'll work on that for you, dude.
What was more exciting for you, Ben, when you saw the figure or when you saw the pin? Because you're a pin collector. What'd you think?
I'm obsessed with the pin. It's amazing. And I just like totally geek out, just sit there stoked so hard. They're all over all my backpacks, all my stuff. I have them on shirts that go through the wash. Just
Are you guys going to go heavy into pins as well? Are you going to do a lot of pins?
We have, I think right now we only have one more pin on this first wave, but there is some more. I know some more pins are going to come, but I'm not exactly sure. You know, like there has been, you know, this was a real big push as far as the year that it took to build up. Like the mold got redone a couple times, you know, us, like even the sculpt, you know, it was a hard one to even get to a point. Like the first renditions, it was like, man, it was like, how do we get this into the third dimension and like look right, you know, and look a certain way. And so right now it's kind of like yeah, I don't know. It's about kind of just feeling it and still putting our hands forward in the dark a little bit, and just I think taking, you know, the next steps to have something fresh and something new coming. And we obviously have the collaboration with Abominable Toys coming probably in Q3. We'd
Nice.
like to do, you know, more stuff like that gives you know, a fresh flavor, I guess, and things like that. So I definitely think there will be more, I hope, more pins, more exciting I don't know, ways to explore this, you know, alternate molds and different things like that. I definitely want to try to, I like keeping it, you know, as fresh as possible and constantly thinking about that, something that we can kind of do to turn it on its head. And so yeah, I guess we'll just figure it out.
Absolutely. Well, pins are great, not only for pin collectors, but also for people who want to support in some way to what you're doing. It gives them a cheaper method in which to do it.
Yeah.
So for us, it has worked really well. We started off as a toy company. Oh, actually, we started off by selling pins, oddly enough, but became a toy company, sold figures, and then really got into pins later on. And pins have been really good to us. So just a thought to keep in mind. Okay. Ben, one quick question that I did not ask you, and I don't think you mentioned it. What did your wife think of the figure? Because she's the one who actually designed the thing.
Yeah, so she is someone who is much more skeptical than me about things. I'm like dive off head first, straight in the pool. But as soon as she saw it, I think maybe when she saw the prototype, she was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. But when she saw the box and the toy with all the color and everything, she's obsessed with it. She loves it. And what's funny about the box is Jordan's mom, my wife's mom, I don't even know if she completely understands the whole thing, but now she has the OG and the Comic-Con up on her shelf. And awesome. She is obsessed with the box. She tells all her friends about the box, tells everyone about the box. It's such an experience opening it. Like, she loves it. And it's so cool to see how different people like embrace it. But yeah, when my wife saw like the finished product, she was like, wow, it's something special. Because there is also an intangible thing about all this that you look at it and you're like, yes, that's it. But you couldn't pinpoint why. You right. Can't just be like, oh, well, it's awesome because of this specific thing. There's an intangible thing that you can't really grasp. And Jonathan found that. So
he nailed it. You both nailed it. You both did a great job on this. I think bringing that logo to life was brilliant. I think that what you guys are doing right now is brilliant. Love the pin that was released. I love the figure, obviously. The merch that you guys are doing, fantastic. You're killing it. And I can't wait to see what else you guys have coming soon. Now all we have to talk about is Surf and Ghastly. Because we got to put Ghastly on a damn surfboard with toys and do a collaboration. Maybe that's something we could talk about sometime in the future. Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun.
I think so too. And I think again too, it's like there's a nature to it all that, like, when it does click and you really kind of get Ben's side of things and you get the toy side of things and you get both of the, you know, I think a lot of what a toy is, right, is kind of like this monolith of like what you're injecting into it almost, right? When you see like Ninja Turtles, right, some people see like nostalgia immediately. They see maybe their childhood or like they were this Ninja Turtle for Halloween, or, you know, so this little vinyl figure, they just looked at it and it kind of made them think of these different things, right? And when they look, you know, when maybe your fans look at Ghastly, this is what they see and feel and why they like it, you know, whether it's the backstory or you guys or the vibe or the feeling or their friends or, you know, all these different things. But I think with you know, the collaborations and Ben and you know, the Stoke and the story and the surfing and life and just the fun, it has something there where it's like, you know, I want to do those types of things to have that thing where people can be like, you know, I don't want them to just maybe necessarily look at like the pineapple and see a pineapple, you know, it's like, it's there to have this other thing where it's like, yeah, man, this is like, you know, awesome thing about life that I like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, Ben, you know, hearing the backstory for the logo and everything. I just love where it comes from. You guys both of you are just so positive, and I would love nothing but to work with you guys at some point. The fact that you're using stoke a lot, I really enjoy that. I think that's really great, because I use that word, and believe it or not, I didn't know what it meant until tonight. So thank you, Ben, for explaining what that word. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Nice,
I've been using it. I have no idea what the fuck I'm saying, but I'm just using it anyway. Okay.
He comes out of the bathroom and he's like, I'm so stoked. And I'm like, what are you talking
The
about?
first thing Ben's going to say to his wife, he's going to get off the line or off this video, and he's going to walk to his wife and go, "Can you believe this guy thought there was an ass on the back of the goddamn pineapple?" There is some asshole that just interviewed me and said there was a butt on the back of this figure. Can you believe it?
One thing I wanted to say too, because I've heard this a few times from people, is like, this feeling that, oh, I don't live near the ocean, so I can't I would love to get into surfing, or I can't get into this because I'm not somehow involved in surfing. But I think surfing has Ben has a documentary called For the Dream that you should check out. There's a free documentary from this guy Jerry Lopez that Patagonia did on YouTube. 100-Foot Wave on HBO Max. There's a lot of these stories in surfing that they're very participatory, in my opinion, and you can get these stories and feel these stories and translate them into whatever you're doing. There's something to me about surfing that, okay, you might not be on a 12-foot wave, off the coast of Hawaii or something right now, but there's some type of energy that can still be captured there and placed in your own life that's still very magical, in my opinion. The first time I remember seeing 100-Foot Wave, I was just my brain exploded. If you can't watch that and think what's possible in your own life, I don't know what's going on, you know what I mean? So
Right.
there's and we've all seen those documentaries, right? Or those movies or those stories, where it's this is insane, and so I don't know, I just like to share that with people.
That's cool. Man, you guys are so positive. I don't know what to do with myself, Heather. It's too much. We're so negative. I don't know what to say. But Ben, you're in Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say you're a pretty positive guy to live in Jersey. I'll say that. Anytime I've ever been there, people are pretty angry. I went to a Perkins one time. I watched two people fight it out at the buffet bar. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's wild. But you never been to Perkins?
No.
Yeah, count yourself as lucky. I'll never go again. But no, it was great talking to both of you. Jonathan, we've known you for many years. You've always been such a great friend to us, and we appreciate you. Ben, it was great to meet you for the very first time. I think you're great. We're going to post his YouTube down in the comments below, and if I can find the link to, I think it's Amazon, where your documentary is, maybe I can post it down there as well, so people can go and click it.
You can watch it on Red Bull TV for free.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
If you don't have Amazon, you gotta buy it, but it's on Red Bull TV.
Red Bull TV. Okay, we'll put that down there as well. That way they can come and check out everything. I wish you guys nothing but the best.
Thank you.
I think you guys are the best. I love everything you're doing. I'm super stoked. And I cannot wait to see that brand new figure. Jonathan, I'm going to have to get my hands on that figure at some point because I like it. It's green. It's nice. It'll look very good on my desk. I'm going to need that thing.
How do you know? You haven't even
Saw the
seen it
little
yet.
box, Heather. Box doesn't lie. Thank you.
Maybe we can do one last little, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, my God.
You have to wait and see.
I always told you, Heather, Jonathan always knows how to make me rock hard. Thank you, Jonathan, once again. But thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. Hey, thanks for having us on,
you.
too.
Of course,
Anytime.
I am
Of course.
so excited to see what you guys do. I've loved all of it, and I feel like such a fangirl right now.
That's the most. That's the most that Heather said in the whole video.
He does this a lot. So.
I talk too much. All right, I'm a piece of shit. All right, bye. We hope that you guys enjoyed that interview. I feel like we found out a lot of information about this Gravy figure. It was great talking to Ben and Jonathan. They're both really, really cool guys, super positive. They are the best, so make sure you check out everything that they're doing over on Smeyeworld.com, and also follow them on Instagram at stoked_on_gravy. Let us know what you thought about this video in the comment section down below, and also let us know if you picked up yourself a Gravy figure. In every video, we like to shout out to our patrons for Patreon. In this video, we'd like to shout out to Raymond Melendez, Julian Luke, Mitch Hayes, George Mendez, Little Steve, Susan Munson, Tim Levro, Gustavo Quintero, Ronaldo Gomez, and Funko Freak. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We appreciate all of our patrons. You guys rock. And make sure, if you haven't already, to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell. That way you'll know anytime we go live or post brand new content. We post content every single day, and we go live every Sunday between 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern. Come back and hang with us. We have a blast here. If you want to support the channel, check out Patreon at patreon.com/Gastlecast. Every month we go live with our patrons via Google Meet. We hang out, we show you upcoming Mischief Toys things, we do giveaways, and much, much more. So come and hang with us. It's a real fun time. Our next call is going to be on August the 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss it. Come and hang with us. Check out patreon.com/Gastlecast to be a part of the fun. Thank you so much for staying until the end. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.